Some mornings can feel slow and intentional, but let's be honest, most of the time as moms, the morning rush just takes over. And when that happens, breakfast is usually the first thing we skip. But here's the thing, starting your day with a real protein-rich breakfast makes such a difference. It helps steady your energy, supports your hormones, and keeps you from running on coffee alone until lunch. So today I'm sharing a few quick and simple breakfasts you can make from scratch, even on the busiest mornings. They're nourishing, filling, and perfect for fueling your body while you're taking care of everyone else. The first recipe I want to share is something you can literally throw together in 5 minutes. It is a protein pancake bowl, and you just throw it together in the microwave with a few ingredients. For this recipe, you can buy a protein pancake mix at the store, but I just made my own so that I could use gluten-free flour. I'm not gluten-free, but I do prefer to eat less gluten when I can. And I also loved that by using this mix, I could avoid any added ingredients like the extra soy and some of the seed oils. I'll link the recipe that I used below. But to make this, you just scramble up an egg in a microwave-safe glass bowl. Make sure it's not plastic. Add in your milk and then your pancake mix, and you can truly just stick it in the microwave from here, but I love some mix-ins. So I like to do frozen fruit sometimes. Another good one is bananas and chocolate chips. And then you can put it in the microwave. I like to do it for 2 to 3 minutes, especially if you're using frozen fruit. I'll go for an extra minute just to make sure everything gets cooked, but you just want to make sure you don't see any raw batter left. When they're out, of course you have to top it with some real maple syrup, but also you can use a yogurt as a topping to add a little bit more protein as well. My next recipe is great if you have a little bit of time at the beginning of the week to prep this because it makes a lot of servings. It is baked oats. You can do a lot of different flavors with this, but today I'm doing banana, peanut butter, and chocolate. I actually make these for my husband every week because we were buying protein bars, but to find a protein bar that has clean ingredients and enough protein, they were very expensive. I think we were spending close to $90 a month. So even though they were really great ingredients, that was just a lot of money from the grocery budget that I wanted to save. So we found this recipe for the oats. It's working out great. Even when using a really great quality protein powder and great quality oats, it still works out to be much cheaper. Another way I'm saving money here is using my whey from the yogurt that I make. I shared that in a video recently. I'll make sure I can link that below. But I use the whey instead of milk so that nothing's going to waste, and we're also just saving a little bit of extra money here. Now, anytime I'm talking about breakfast, I have to bring up the importance of eating it every morning because of the hormone benefits. A few years ago, I got really into learning about my cycle and my hormones and how all of those interact in my body to help me feel the best. And I learned how important it is to make sure you're getting protein and fiber first thing in the morning. I think a lot of moms, especially, but just women in general, we're so busy. Feeding yourself breakfast can be an afterthought. And honestly, eating a big breakfast is kind of not trendy anymore. But I have felt such a difference in my own body. Eating breakfast every single morning, making sure that it's not just a little snack, it's something that is hearty, filling, and nutritious. And so I always recommend, if anyone's looking to maybe help have less painful periods, get more hormone balance in their body, or anything like that, to always eat breakfast. Okay, once that baked oats is out of the oven, you just slice it into 12 pieces and keep it in the fridge, and you can heat it up every morning. It takes 30 seconds and it's a great balanced breakfast. So since we're already sharing oat recipes, my next one might have you thinking, no duh, but it's oatmeal. Oatmeal is something I really love. I turn to it multiple times a week because it is so full of fiber, but also because you can add a lot of protein to it. I think usually when people are making oatmeal, they don't think to add protein powder or collagen to it, and in that case, it is quite carb heavy. But if you can add 20 to 30 grams of protein in there. It makes a great sustaining breakfast that will really keep you full all morning long and help you make it to lunch. I really like adding collagen to mine, some milk, and then also adding chia seeds just for a little extra fiber. I love to stick fiber in literally anywhere I can. It is so good for you. And I think there's a number out there, it's like the average American is just totally missing their fiber goal every single day. And that can really impact things like digestion and even have ramifications for colon cancer and other things like that. But it also plays a big part in your hormones. That's something I'm thinking about constantly. Just how can I support my body and myself better? You can do any flavor you want in oatmeal, but my go-to is usually maple syrup and cinnamon. Sometimes if I'm feeling fancy, I'll even add a little bit of grass-fed butter to make it richer. So good. I also love to add some chocolate, like cocoa powder. It's so good. And if you're in a hurry, I used to make this all the time before I would work outside the house. I would just stick it in the microwave instead of cooking it on the stovetop. Still just as good, just as nutritious, and a great from scratch breakfast option you can make no matter how busy the morning is. Now, it wouldn't be a video about high protein breakfast if I didn't make something with cottage cheese. But even if you really hate cottage cheese, I think you're gonna like this one because there are no chunks. It just adds a delicious creaminess to this dish. This is one that you can also make ahead if you have a little bit of extra time. But this is one I like to make for dinner, and it has leftovers for breakfast in the morning. It's a cheese, sausage, and onion quiche. If you find yourself in the healthy food space of the internet, you've probably seen the Good Culture brand cottage cheese. I really love that stuff, but it's always out of stock, so some people who live around me must also love it too. But my sister just told me about the Daisy cottage cheese and how it also only has like 3 or 4 ingredients. It doesn't have any gums added to it. That has been a lot easier to find, so I have been enjoying my cottage cheese recipes once again. This one is very easy. I'm going to link a recipe I followed kind of in the description, but I'll also add in kind of my additions and substitutions. I also feel like it should be said my baby was asleep in the carrier. That's why he's leaning over so much, but I was keeping a close eye on him. But back to the quiche. Instead of a regular pie crust, I like to use a puff pastry crust, and I also added some local sausage. I will say the crust probably doesn't have the best ingredients, but you can certainly make this without a crust or make your own pie crust at home. It's very quick to come together, especially if you've got an immersion blender or just a regular blender. Just kind of blend up all of your ingredients. You can add the cheese on top and give it a bake. I do like to just pre-bake that crust just for a little bit first so it's not soggy on the bottom. But something about this sitting on my stovetop just looks so homey and so comforting, and I can confirm it was delicious. I hope these ideas gave you a little inspiration on your own mornings. Taking just a few minutes to fuel yourself can make such a big difference in your day. If you try one of these recipes, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more from scratch recipes and homemaking inspiration.